You hear buzz in your pockets. But alas, it's not your typical social media notification. Instead, UOB notifies you your credit payment is due in 2 days. Instead, UOB reminds you that travel budgeting for you is only down to $100. But luckily for you, your investment portfolio grew 5%. These are just a glimpse of UOB's future. Today, my team, Terrence, William, Dalton, and I, Jillian, will introduce you UOB's one-stop finance solution. So first, we have UOB Mighty, who we believe we can transform this and become UOB Almighty. And what this does is an upgrade to our strategy to ensure increased rapid user base, as well as repositioning UOB to an Asian premier digital bank. So now I've introduced you to UOB's future. Let me bring you back to why UOB Almighty is critical to your success. So first and foremost, we notice an increasing trend in financial technology as Singaporean customers have an increasing demand for integrated, customized, and tailored solutions. UOB has capitalized on this trend by targeting payment, dining. But with the increasing competition from Apple Pay, for hungry goer, for example, they lose a competitive edge, rendering some of the functionalities limited. Therefore, we decided to focus on the key question of, with a potential loss in revenue, how do we ensure growth? How do we ensure we could transform and leapfrog our existing application? So we pose this question to you. Must we go head-on-head to our competitors? We believe not so. Instead of going head-on-head with our competitors of food and dining applications, we believe we could instead integrate their third-party functionalities and instead innovate in areas that give us a competitive edge. We believe focusing on key core areas that evaluated such as capturing all aspects of money, having easy automation, and leveraging our existing UOB customer data. And with that, we believe we could also help capture a customer's experience at a bank. From spending to saving to investing, we are targeting 3 key areas. Of first, travel. Second, personal finance. And third, wealth management. And all in all, this is transformative as it leverages our existing UOB Mighty app, transform it to our UOB Almighty app, and furthermore, and most importantly, repositions us, UOB, as a premier Asian digital bank. So to present to you our 3 key strategies. Spend, to acquire customers by integrating an FX calculator as well as a travel budgeting functionality. Second, to save, to retain our customers by introducing debt consolidation simulators as well as monthly expense tracker. And thirdly, invest, to service our customers by introducing the first and only Robo-Advisory functionality within Asia. And not only will all these 3 strategies make UOB Almighty, it helps us also generate a total MPV, a project MPV of $55 million. Now, William will talk about how he focuses on consumer spending.
Thank you, Jillian. Our strategies revolving consumer spending is to leverage Mighty's app's existing functionalities in lifestyle, the restaurant booking and restaurant review functionality, and building upon it. And also to capture a larger portion of consumer spending from domestic to the international expenditure as well. The current problem we see with the Mighty app is that there are already a lot of players in some of the functionality that you're presenting, such as there is existence of Hungry Goer and Food Panda in the online food content space. Secondly, we see a lack of incentive for people to choose to pay with the UOB app relative to traditional means such as cash and physical credit cards. Thus, we propose first a technical partnership with these leader players in these fields, and second, an incentive system, what we call mission and hidden achievement. So, what will this technological partnership look like? This is where companies such as Hungry Goer will provide review data and also fulfill reservation requests, while your partnership with Food Panda will fulfill delivery requests that you can all make throughout the phone and pay with the UOB app. There will also be UOB exclusive deals at all select restaurants that you can see there. The second part of our strategy is to utilize mission and hidden achievements to gamify the spending experience, as well as to create monetary incentive. Missions is basically a periodic, where the application generates periodic spending goals for the user. So once the user, for example, in this case, says $200 on food this month through the app, they get 2 times miles on the Singapore Flyer rewards program. And this will be a targeted reward system. The second part of our strategy, the second part, hidden achievement, differs from the mission in the sense that it is the conditions to unlocking these additional incentives are hidden to create a sense of spontaneity. Ultimately, we believe that this is fun. This is both functional and is fun for the user. Ultimately, in terms of our international aspects, is the introduction of 2 functionalities. First, the FX calculator, foreign exchange calculator, as well as a foreign spending tracker. What will this look like? As you can see on the left hand, on the right-hand side, is the foreign exchange calculator, where there will be a live feed of the current exchange rate to where the foreign destination you're currently on. It will calculate whatever amount you enter in the from the foreign currency to your home currency. On the other end, when people leave for a trip, they can enter a budget that they want to spend on this trip. And this trip will track every single expenditure that you make through the UOB credit card abroad, and as well as show the distribution of your spending in different categories. And our favorite part of this application is the fact that now you can actually see where you spend money at what time, creating a picture of what your trip looks like, creating a personal touch to just beyond a financial app. Ultimately, we believe that through expanding from just domestic functionality and to international functionality, and through combining function and fun, this will be able to increase customer retention in the application and enhance the UOB brand in the digital market space, digital banking space. Now we'll talk a little bit about how we enhance people's ability to spend money. We're going to pass it on to Dalton to talk about how we teach people to save money.
Thank you, William. So how do we target people with our personal finance and savings functionality? First, the app will calculate and show the monthly expenses by product group of a regular customer using UOB Mighty app. The app will then analyze its spending and show you a spending analysis based on the average consumer of the app. Because the app is integrated so seamlessly with social media, you will also be able to see points of interest with people of similar spending habits as you. Now, users can also set payment plans using the UOB Mighty app. Now, this app shows when your payment debts are due, and will enable you to create a seamless experience, a seamless user experience. Adding on to that, users can also experience debt consolidation. So you can select the credit card debt that you want to refinance, and the app will show you an estimated amount that you can save through debt consolidation. Now, right now, regulations exist that you cannot gain pre-approval through an app. In the long run, however, pre-approval will become a thing in the financial consumer marketplace. And through launching this app, we attempt to bridge the short term with the long term, and when this policy gets in place, we will be able to leverage on and gain traction in the marketplace. So, a brief recap on what this UOB Mighty app achieves. First, it enables you to see your credit score, understand your daily expenses, and even set payment reminders and consolidate your debts to debt consolidation. This provides a critical mass for UOB and will enable UOB to also cross-sell products such as loans, credit cards, through its big data collection. So Terrence, could you now tell me, how would an ordinary UOB investor can invest his money through the UOB app? Terrence, please.
Definitely, Dalton. So we see that after spending and saving, the UOB Mighty app is going to one big step forward, and that is fully automated Robo-Advisory. So what is this all about? We would start with an illustrative. So a customer would log on to Mighty, and they will see a thematic selection page where they could choose a type of investment product that they would like to. For example, this customer picks Internet of Things. proceeded to choosing the investment budget that he would put into it, and then he would actually, the app itself, the algorithm, would actually auto-rebalance everything that he is investing into in the portfolio and tell you a goal and the percentage of how far you are away from the goal that you set in the beginning. So, how we're going to do this is that we'll have the customer set the risk appetite, choose the theme, and then the investment budget. They can immediately start using it. And they don't have to worry about anything with the ad itself. Because the key point is that this is auto-rebalanced and optimized by an algorithm. So we're targeting the more inexperienced investor, young professionals, or people who just came out of college like us, who are not that experienced and not that knowledgeable about investment. But then with all the auto-rebalancing and auto-investing algorithm, we don't have to worry about anything. Just give him the budget, and the algorithm will work on itself. And with a higher asset under management, would actually give them a reduction in management fees and more customization options, as relief this means that our client is actually becoming a more mature investor. So Robo-Advisory is no hype but a reality. According to Statista, in Singapore alone, the CAGR is actually 88.6% from 2014 to 2020. So, which means UOB has to act really quickly. And what's the fastest way than to do a partnership? And we're going to do it with Charles Schwab, which is the only intelligent portfolio that does auto-rebalancing out of all the existing top robo-advisory functions. So this means it does round-the-clock trading for us. So what does it all mean in terms of financial? It means that we're getting over $15 million of net present value from our wealth management robo-advisory, and that over 16% of return on investment through the lifestyle and personal finance app, which translates into over $3 million of net present value, and a $55 million of the whole net present value of the project. So now, William, is this all implementable?
Thank you, Terrence. And absolutely, this is all implementable. Take a closer look. As you can see here, we believe that this app could be rolled out as soon as 2017, creating an immediate impact onto your consumers. And looking at the first strategy, first of all, you would need to find these partnerships and consolidate these partnerships through exclusivity agreements. In terms of the safe functionality, you need to partner with the credit bureau as well as develop the debt consolidation simulator. Last but not least, in our invest strategy, you would also need to develop an agreement with Charles Schwab and then develop the different types of portfolios. At the end of the day, it may seem like our strategies are just a collection of functionalities, but no, this is not. This is a new way for people to interact with their banks. This application not only enhances both the past, the present, and the future of your user's life. The past, by consolidating past expenses and past debt. Current, it enhances their current life by enhancing the way people spend money, as well as enhancing the future of your users by helping them invest and plan for their retirement. All in all, we believe our strategy will disrupt the digital banking environment and propel UOB to the top and the edge to become Asia's premier digital bank. With that, I'd like to thank you for your time and open the floor to your questions.
Hi, could you walk us through the gamification strategy and what is the NROI for that?
Absolutely. So the gamification strategy is in the sense that you get missions. So it's kind of a game in which because you have this mission of trying to spend $200 at the end of the month, so you're going to find convenient ways to spend money to unlock that reward at the end you really want. So instead of where you, for example, if you really want to learn search the past, you would call them. Now you're incentivized to choose the UOB app over other existing services and transfer those payments that could be potentially originally cash to paying on the UOB app and generating that fee right there. And the second part of that is hidden achievement is there's an alteration of that, in a sense just to create a sense of spontaneity. It's like, wow, this is a pleasant surprise that I got today. And that will create multitude of gratification to use the application.
So just a follow-on, so as a user, so I spent $200, and so it's kind of like a credit card reward point, right? They're going to give me something in return. Is that how it works?
Well, it's a little bit different because if you go back to in the sense that these would be targeted, it's kind of like, it's not just, spend 2% at, you get 2% cash back. In the sense that these rewards are targeted. It's really, we know based on past spending behavior that this is what you really want. And this is what really entices you. And these rewards can be in different forms because they can be in different
Could you give me a
forms.
specific example?
Okay.
So $200 and what would you do with it?
Well, for example, in this example, it's 2 times miles. But in another example, it could be, oh, here's a free drink. Because based on your spending, you see you bought like 20 different bubble teas in the past month.
Thank you. Could you tell me a bit about your customer-centric view around what this strategy would do in terms of it being able to look at different customer segments? I'm not so sure as well whether you have done analysis of the customer segment. And then secondly, is this going to be helping UOB acquire? Is this helping UOB to defend? Or you said past, present, and future. So maybe you could elaborate a bit about that.
Definitely. I'll start with the Robo-Advisory part, which is the future part, and that's how we're actually going to acquire new customers. So our target client is that the people who don't have a relationship manager on their own to help them invest. So right now, private bank, reserve, privilege banking, most of them would use a relationship manager to their investment. But however, the core banking part and the privilege banking part might not have that service because of the prohibitive cost of having an RM. So that's where we target and pilot our robo-advisory. We start with the people who are young professionals, probably inexperienced, like most of the people, young professionals who came out not very experienced in investing, not knowing a lot about different asset classes. And that's why we start with them, because we want to entrench them and acquire these new customers. Now they know that, oh, UOB has a function that I don't have to worry anything, a single thing about investing. And because it's an algorithm, it deep learns, it will generate, from their friends who knew that, it generates a pretty good revenue. So that's how we acquire our customers for the future. Maybe we can talk about how we're going to retain customers with our spending strategy.
Absolutely. So you can see that these three common approaches are actually all the aspects of how people realize money. So how does retain customers is essentially almost a pseudo cross-selling in the sense that this money that we see that this money from all the money you make, all the money you spend, all the money you invest are captured within one digital bank. And so they never leave the ecosystem or even have the opportunity to leave the ecosystem. Because by the time they get to the age where they can go find a real investor, they're already entrenched in the robo-investing situation. By the time, they're already using our credit cards, so we already know that they potentially have issues with paying their credit card bills. So we're offering debt consolidation already before other banks can even do that. So locking them in within the UOB ecosystem.
Thank you.
What's the objective for UOB when they created UOB Mighty?
Well, ultimately, we believe that it is first, to create a lifestyle application to make sure
That's what it is. What is the objective? What is it meant to achieve?
For a bank, what is meant to achieve?
Yes.
Well, is to ultimately to retain customers and to increase fees going forward and create a platform.
So why do you tell us the outcomes of your strategy are $55 million? Should the outcomes be consistent with the objectives?
Well, absolutely, but at the end.
Okay, so do you have some figures that are consistent with the objectives?
Well, we believe that it actually is all reflected in the profitability of it. At the end of the day,
55 million translates into what in terms of retention and acquisition?
55 million
Is
translates.
55 million a material number that would necessitate these leading representatives of the company to hear your pitch?
So the $55 million is what we're getting out of this single project that we're trying to do. but then the synergetic effect that it would generate to the UOB brand.
Okay, if the synergetic effect is important, why wouldn't you have told us about that?
So we're focusing on the Mighty
I
app
understand that,
project here.
but why wouldn't the Mighty, but as we said, the Mighty app project has a broader scale effects on the bank. And I think that would be a most pertinent interest, would it not?
Yes, definitely.
So can you inform us on that?
Yeah, so we don't have a lot of information on that, so therefore we didn't include a very good model here, but then we would
You don't have a lot of
more.
information from the case, or you didn't generate that information and projections yourself?
So we based on the case information that we have, and then adding on
Okay,
the
then the
industry
second
average.
question would be, if we look at what you propose basically a collection of functionalities that would lead to better banking. If we look at the way the app is currently, there's a lot broader base of functionality that escapes from just banking. So are you asking them to reorient their application away from lifestyle applications and more towards enhanced banking applications?
So actually the three strategies that we have align with what Mighty has, the bank, the dine, and the deal part. So we're actually mirroring it by expanding
So the
three
first
parts.
strategy that you have is the one that would be most aligned to the dime. Would that really substantially enhance that functionality as compared to its competitors?
Yes, definitely. So what we're doing here with the third party app is we are actually preempting our competitors from doing the same thing, from mimicking from us, because we are collaborating with the leaders in the
FX
market.
calculator is meant to scare away your competitors?
Oh, the
Am I
FX,
saying
the
that
FX
correctly?
calculator thing is where we're going for the lifestyle thing, where we get the deals. So we actually understand the customer behavior better, and that is how we do it. And then for the bank thing, we would have the Robo-Advisory. So we're actually expanding upon the
Okay,
three
I'm
pillars.
sorry, we're taking a lot of time. But Robo-Advisory, do you think it's correct to mediate that functionality through a mobile app, given that it's new and you're dealing with people's wealth in a very sensitive area?
So the mobile app is actually just the interface of our Robo-Advisory. It's actually based on a very complex model, and we actually found the right partner to do that because Charles Schwab now is the only partner in US, and they offer the service. So that is only a portal of a view.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Right now, when you do an analysis, right, and you look at Mighty, compared to all of UOB's mobile app competitors from other banks, what is the most differentiated, unique, and distinguishing feature that Mighty has?
Right now, the biggest differentiator is definitely the lifestyle part. You see Payla and other apps focusing a lot on P2P payments and financial products. But then the real thing that differentiates UOB itself from the other big two is that it's targeting on the benefits that the credit card and the consumer-oriented products bring to the customers. And that is what we are trying to reinforce here by embedding it.
The most differentiated functionality is what again?
So we would categorize the Mighty app, the most differentiated is the extra benefit that the UOB credit cards deals, and the lifestyle part.
Why is that the most differentiated feature that you can't find anywhere else? Lots of banks have this, right?
I think when we talk about lifestyle, it's also about the human essence of it. For example, with our investing approach, we also want to train them and make them oppose to different markets, so that they could have their own flexibility and learning as they educate themselves.
Okay, I'm not really hearing your answer. I'm asking you very specifically, what is the most differentiated functionality in Mighty today against all of UOB's competitors?
So the payment thing is what makes UOB different.
Why is the payment thing? Because everybody's got, Apple Pay has been launched, Shuttle Pay has been launched, everybody has payments, right? So why is it the most differentiated?
Yeah, so the contactless payment is what UOB invested a lot in. But then the reason that we're trying to do it with different ways is that we identified that there are threats in the market threatening the...
Okay, you're not answering the question. Why is it the most differentiated?
I think it
So you identified, am I correct to say payments is the most differentiated, contactless payments, is that correct? Why is that so?
So according to the case and the information that we get with the different apps, the contactless payment thing is what differentiates UOB. But then with Apple Pay and
Okay,
Google
but
Pay,
if you had searched the web, you would know that everybody else has launched, right?
yeah.
So is it still the most, because my reference to question was today, is that still the most differentiated functionality?
We actually see that it being threatening and diminishing, and that's why we're switching it more focused on the lifestyle part.
I think
And
our
Okay,
differentiating factor is
forget
integrated.
about what you're shifting it to. I'm asking you today, the answer is today. What is the most differentiated feature?
It integrates different financial options with our personal life. For example, we create memories. This is a very human touch.
I'm just curious as to why you wouldn't list dining as the most differentiated feature. Is there a reason for that?
So dining is definitely one of the features, but then as we identified, if you compare the current UOB dining
Yes.
with Hungry,
Okay, so let's take that, right? When you compare the Hungry Go Where, what is the difference? What are the three most distinguishing features between Mighty Dine and Hungry Go Where?
okay, so the biggest one that I could identify is that so the Hungry Goer, you could actually have the review thing not restricted to users that actually did a UOB transaction on it. So in the Mighty app right now, you need a
What else?
UOB transaction to actually write reviews. There's benefit to that is that you're making sure that they're actually having.
What else is there?
Yeah,
besides
so
that?
review thing is one, and then the booking thing is also restricted.
The what,
for
sorry?
The booking, the function for booking. That's why when we did the demo, the booking thing
Would
was
those
small.
be reasons that it would make it less powerful, less adopted? Can you justify why those limitations would make it inferior to Hungry Go Where?
Oh, well, absolutely. Because, for example, when we look at, it's really about critical mass here. When we look at, for example, the reviews, right? Consumers are going to look for the most accurate review site, and that accuracy is based on the amount of users that are generating those reviews.
Have you taken a look at how many reviews there are on Hungry Go Where? There are actually very few reviews. And isn't it true that in Hungry Go Where anyone can put a review?
Absolutely. Because
And in Mighty Dine, who can put a review?
Mighty customers. Users
No.
know that.
No, that's not the answer. It's who has eaten, right?
Yeah.
Because you haven't eaten there, then you won't get a response with you. So wouldn't you say therefore Mighty Dine is more accurate than Hungry Go Where?
Well, actually, for example, a lot of these applications, such as Hungry Go Where, do actually have a lot of algorithms that filter out a lot of these bad reviews and a lot of these false positives. So we feel that actually the limitation of the people able to get reviews is more of a hindrance than those relatively uncertified reviews on Hungry Go Where. Because overwhelmingly, those reviews on Hungry Go Where are still actual users.
The uncertified reviews are better than certified, verified reviews.
Well, it's uncertified but qualified based on algorithm and scouting out false positives on a much larger aggregate scale. Because yes, you may have certified reviews, but if you only have 2 or 3 on the potentially thousands of restaurants, we don't know if those are the aggregate concept or are those just outliers.
So you mentioned a bit about partnerships. How would you decide when to partner and when to build a particular part of the application?
So everywhere to build is where the functionality is a core part of banking. For instance, where the partner is where there are competitors in the space, it may not be a core part of banking. For example, in the Hungry Go Where aspects, those are not gathering reviews are not potentially what a traditional bank does. So thus, why not outsource that to people who could do it better, who have more man hours and investments, and spread the cost over more users.
Wouldn't Robo-Advisory be a core bank proposition?
So Robo-Advisory will become very quickly a core bank competence, especially if we could leapfrog and spearhead it as the first mover. Because as illustrated in the slide, it's actually an inevitable trend. There are a lot of startups in Silicon Valley already doing that.